So, what was the biggest surprise out of the research for you?
So I think there were a couple. One was certainly that this is not about some weird pixie dust or DNA you get as a character trait. This is not some mystical genetic fiber that makes you honesty or not. Honesty is a capability. It's actually something you have to work at to be good at, and you have to work at it every day. If you go to the gym, you're not going to spend your first day there bench pressing 400 pounds. You're going to have to work up to that muscle. Well, you don't bench press hard moments of truth the first time you meet them. You have to go to the honesty gym and work out and build that muscle. And if you don't use that muscle, it atrophies. So you have to actually want to excel at this skill and believe that it's worth doing so. The second was some of the factors that we found in the predictors of honesty. That there were four. The largest one was cross-functional relationships. The place in our organizations where the seams are, where you either have a unified force, you either have cohesion and alignment, or you have border wars. You have silos, you have we they thinking, you have vilification of somebody in another department that is a pain in your neck. And the factor there was that if the seams of your organization are well stitched and coalesced, if there is a way to resolve those healthy tensions and have 1 + 1 = 3, you are 6 times more likely to have people behave honestly. But if there's border wars there, if those conflicts are living unresolved, there's intractable conflicts that people choose finger pointing over resolution, now you're 6 times more likely to have people lie, cheat, and serve their own interests first. There's a huge multiplier. For something that exists in all of our companies, right? So we don't necessarily understand the risk we're allowing to fester by allowing those border wars, the classic ones: sales and marketing, supply chain and operations, R&D and marketing, HR and everybody. When we allow them to exist, we're now raising the risk of dishonest behavior.
And these are people who would otherwise perceive themselves as honest and forthright people. These aren't companies hired liars and cheaters.
I don't think any leader would wake up in the morning and say, "Hey, I'm a nefarious scoundrel." I don't think anybody, even in some of the headline stories we read, intends for those outcomes. I think we're masterful at self-justification. We're masterful at making ourselves right. Even in a border war, it's I'm right. And the problem is that when you fragment the organization, you fragment the truth. So now we have dueling truths. So it's no longer about the truth. It's about my truth versus your truth. And of course, my goal is to be right. So we're masterful at creating the reality around us that we want, and then telling ourselves a story about how it's true, even when it's not. I think most dishonesty is not a byproduct of nefarious ill intent. Most dishonesty, I believe, to be the byproduct of self-protection, some mechanism by which we are trying to avoid pain or avoid exposure or fear being found out. It's not, yes, there are a handful of psychopaths out there on the take looking to, serve their own, selfish interests, but I don't think that's the vast majority of dishonesty. Mm.
So I think that's a really compelling point is people presumably want to do the right thing and they are acting out of their humanness to avoid issues. Looking bad.
Looking bad or engineering a certain response in front of other people, or you're trying to maneuver a certain outcome. And again, the conditions and the research explain why, right? So in the case of cross-functional partnerships, if I'm in a border war, I don't want to lose, right? I have to. My natural instincts are to be tribal, and I've now defined the tribe as not the whole company, but the tribe of my department, my division, my region, and so I have to protect the tribe. And you've now become the enemy. So it's about, my loyalty to my tribe has now become weaponized. Do I mean that? No. Do I understand that there are probably far greater consequences to the broader organization for my behavior? No. But that is the outcome.